Hi, and welcome back to Night Child Reviews. It's a very rainy day here in the UK, and unfortunately, there's no purple rain or hallucination rain yet. But today, I just want to ask one question. Will Prince's legacy grow and grow? I've been thinking about this a lot recently. Obviously, with the change in the ownership of the estate between the family and Primary Wave, it's a time of flux, and at the moment, it feels like not a lot's happening. There was quite a momentum built up before with the Sign of the Times Deluxe and Purple Rain Deluxe and 1999 Deluxe and kind of all these things, but it seems to have really quietened down. And it got me to thinking, Prince's legacy in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time, what will that be like? Part of the situation is obviously with the Netflix deal. We have to kind of wait in a sense because so much is held up with this deal. So many things can't be released because Netflix have this kind of strange exclusivity deal where until the documentary is put out there, and we're talking from what we've heard recently, it will be at least next year, possibly mid next year, spring, we don't know. But until that point, lots of things can't be released. So lots of things have been held up and kind of in this bottleneck. Now, obviously, once the Netflix documentary comes out, first of all, I really hope we'll see a huge spike in interest in Prince and Prince's story and Prince's, musical journey. But also, it means it's time to capitalize on that. It's time to bring out, albums. It's time to get people interested who maybe are casual Prince fans or perhaps didn't really know much about Prince, watched the Netflix documentary and thought, great, what can I buy? What can I step into? And this is a time to have all that stuff available, whether it's, hits, whether it's other packages, whether it's something just so they can go to. Even a concert on Netflix would be fantastic. But I was thinking about Prince's legacy, and I was thinking, he's not as big as he should be. I've always felt that. I think that you look at other stars, and I don't mean this in a negative way about the other stars, but there are many stars, for example, in the Songwriters Hall of Fame, but Prince isn't there. And I think, Prince is one of the great songwriters of all time. And for him not to be there is strange. It was talked about and they said, well, it will probably happen soon. It still hasn't. I mean, I know at the moment with the internet, with everything, there's so much information. There's so much music, so much, video, so much to look at, so much to enjoy that it's possible, Prince is getting slightly lost in that. Now, I hope very much that Cream will rise to the top, and over time, people realise just how unique Prince was and the talents he had. But I always think, that is that something that's going to happen on its own? I mean, who is responsible in a sense for making sure that in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time, in 15 years' time, Prince is appreciated by as many people as possible? Now, some people say, well, we don't need to do anything. The music will do that. People will hear the music. They'll be inspired by the music and they'll enjoy that. And I hope that's true. But the music has to be out there and it has to be part of the sort of, not mainstream, but part of the collective consciousness. We have to have Prince's work out there in order for people to find it. You have situations where, obviously some people don't like Prince's music being used in adverts or things like that, but we want it out there in perhaps films and on Netflix in terms of concerts, and just we want people to discover him, because ultimately the estate can do a certain amount. They can please the hardcore fans, they can put out packages for more casual fans, and the estate have a part to play in this. But we also have a part. We talk about Prince, and for me, the Prince community has done more in the last few months than the Prince estate in lots of ways, because we all have a Facebook talking about Prince, we all have a Twitter talking about Prince, we're on YouTube talking about Prince, and I think that's a key part of it too. I think there's lots of new stars. I say new stars, but people who have been inspired by Prince, people like Janelle Monáe, and there's a list of many others who are perhaps perhaps they'll introduce people to Prince through their work, and that's obviously something that we can hope for. But ultimately, Prince's legacy really had we had a big push, because initially after Prince passed, we had this confusion. The estate was in a mess. There's lawyers left, right and centre spending millions. And then we got to the point where we started to get regular releases, and we started to move and build up a bit of pace, a bit of a steam. And then, obviously with the recent events with the estate, it's kind of slowed right down. I'm hoping that this is just a blip, and after this, the estate and the family can all get on one page, and after the Netflix deal comes out, we can really push and really push Prince's profile, because quite frankly, the amount of work he produced, the amount of videos he produced, the amount of concerts he performed, he should be ubiquitous. He should be absolutely everywhere, and he isn't to the extent he should be. Part of that, obviously, in Prince's lifetime was that he wanted, quite rightly, for artists to be paid correctly for the work they did. So he was reluctant to go on, Spotify, YouTube, and things like that. But now it's a case of, I really want people to, talk about Prince as one of the greats, because for me, he is the greatest artist we have ever had. And I just want that to be a part of the conversation. And I just really wonder, one thing is, how do you feel Prince's legacy will be in 5-10 years time? Will he be talked of more than he is today, or will he be talked of about the same amount or less? What do you think Prince's kind of work looks like in 5 years time, 10 years time? Will it be appreciated more? Will people realise just what we had? Or is it something that a new thing comes along and it just kind of gets pushed out? It's important to think slightly longer term for the estate as well, to have a plan. So I just really sorry if it's a bit rambling, but I just really wanted to kind of ask, what's the future for Prince's work? We're in a lull at the moment, but can we get that momentum going up again? I'd really love to hear your thoughts. This is what this channel is all about. Just listening to, what you say. I've had so many brilliant ideas from people, and so many, amazing discussions about Prince. I'd just really like to know, what would you do? What do you think the key thing is? Or do you think it doesn't matter? Do you think that, it doesn't matter? Prince's work is out there for those who, find it, and that's enough? Or do you think, we really need a big push to kind of get him at the level he really deserves? Because he is one of the greats, and he needs to be out there front and centre, amongst the greats. Thank you.